Throwaway because my main has coworkers on it, and I don't even know how to explain any of this without sounding like a conspiracy nut. Also, I can't believe I'm typing this at all. I'm male 32. My wife, Lena, is 28. We've been together 6 years, married for almost 3. No kids. We live in a mid-sized city in the Midwest, the kind of place where people wave at you in the grocery store because they recognize your face even if they don't know your name. On paper, my life is normal. We both work. We have a dog. We have the same arguments every couple has. Dishes, laundry, money anxiety even though the bills are paid. The biggest drama we've had in our marriage until recently was her mom trying to redecorate our living room as a surprise, which, if you've ever had a mother-in-law with boundary issues, you know is not a small thing. But it was manageable. This feels like I'm walking around inside a movie where everyone knows the plot except me. Let me back up. Lena is the kind of person who makes friends in line at Starbucks. I'm more cautious. I wouldn't say I'm antisocial, but I've always been the keep your circle small guy. Lena has always had a bigger orbit. She does Pilates. She's in a women's book club. She volunteers at an animal shelter twice a month. She has a group chat for everything. She's always been that way. And for a long time, I loved that about her. She brought color into my life. She'd drag me out to the farmer's market when I'd rather be in sweatpants. She'd make friends with our neighbors. She'd remember people's birthdays. She'd send little thinking of you texts to friends who were having a hard week. Then, around 3 months ago, something shifted. It wasn't one big thing. It was like a slow leak, a subtle pressure change you don't notice until your ears pop. She started being careful with her phone. I know. Every Reddit story starts with that and everyone rolls their eyes. Trust me, I rolled mine too, in my head, because I'm not the guy who checks a partner's phone. I've always believed if you get to that point, the trust is already dead. But this was weird. She used to leave her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. Now she took it into the bathroom, set it face down on the sink, and the shower would run, and I'd hear the faint buzz of notifications through the door. And something about that sound started making my stomach clench. At night, she'd turn the brightness down to almost nothing. She'd scroll in bed with her shoulder angled away from me, like she was trying to block my view. If I leaned over to kiss her cheek, she'd flinch. Not dramatically, but enough that I noticed. The first time I said something, I tried to make it light. "Hey," I said, half joking, "are you joining the CIA? You've been very secret agent lately." She laughed, but it was a thin laugh, not her usual throw her head back laugh. She didn't even look up from the screen. "I'm not being secretive," she said. "I'm just tired. Can you not?" I remember the exact way she said, "Can you not?" Not playful, not teasing, like I was annoying her by breathing too loud. That should have been my first real red flag, because Lena never used to talk to me like I was an inconvenience. A few days after that, she started going on these walks. At first, I didn't question it. We have a dog, and she's always liked walking. But these weren't dog walks. She'd leave without the leash, wearing her nicest leggings and her going out hoodie. And she'd come back smelling like peppermint gum and, this is going to sound insane, like someone else's cologne. Not strong, but there. Like she'd been sitting next to someone in a car. When I asked where she went, she'd say, "Just needed air," and brush past me and go straight to the bathroom to wash her hands. I started feeling like a guest in my own house. I kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe she's stressed. Maybe her job is getting to her. Maybe she's planning something. My birthday, a surprise trip, whatever. Then came the night that made it impossible to ignore. It was a Tuesday. Cold rain tapping on the windows, the kind of gray evening where the sky looks like wet cement. I remember because I'd just made chili, and the whole kitchen smelled like cumin and tomatoes, and the dog was pacing because he knew food was coming. Lena came home later than usual. Not wildly late, but late enough that the chili had formed that thick skin on top because it had been sitting. She walked in fast, cheeks flushed like she'd been outside. Her hair was slightly damp at the ends. I said, "Hey, everything okay? You're late." She didn't kiss me hello. She went straight to the counter, grabbed her phone charger, and plugged in her phone while still holding it like a shield. "Traffic," she said quickly. "Don't start." "I'm not starting," I said. My voice came out tighter than I meant. "I just asked." She glanced at me, one sharp look, and then looked away like she didn't want to meet my eyes. We ate chili. It was quiet, too quiet. The only sound was the spoon scraping the bowl and the rain on the windows. I kept watching her hands. She kept her phone on her lap under the table. Under the table. That's when my chest started doing that tight buzzing thing, like a swarm of bees under my ribs. After dinner, she said she needed to stretch and went into the living room. I started cleaning. I tried to force myself into normal routines. Rinse the bowls, load the dishwasher, wipe the counter. Don't spiral. Don't be that guy. Then her phone buzzed on the charger. It lit up. I did not pick it up. I did not open it. I didn't touch it. But I saw the notification preview. It was from a contact name I didn't recognize. M. And the message preview said, "Same time tomorrow. Don't wear the ring." I swear to God, I felt cold from the inside out, like someone poured ice water into my veins. I stood there with a wet sponge in my hand, staring at those words. Don't wear the ring. I don't know how long I stood there. 10 seconds? A minute? I couldn't tell. The rain sounded louder. My ears were ringing. I heard her in the living room, the soft thud of her yoga mat unrolling, her humming. She was humming, like everything was normal. My hands started shaking. I turned off the faucet because the water sound was too much. I dried my hands on a towel that suddenly felt scratchy and foreign. My heart was pounding so hard I could see my pulse in my wrists. I walked into the living room. She was on the mat, stretching one leg out, phone in her hand now, because she must have heard it buzz. She looked up at me with this innocent face that made me want to scream. "What?" she asked, like I was interrupting something important. I tried to speak and my mouth felt full of cotton. "I saw your notification," I said. Her eyes flicked, just for a fraction of a second, down to her phone, then back to me. And her expression changed. Not fear, not guilt, annoyance. Like I'd caught her watching a dumb reality show and judged her. "Why are you looking at my notifications?" she snapped. "I wasn't looking," I said. "It lit up. It said..." My throat tightened. "It said, 'Don't wear the ring.'" Her face went blank, like someone hit pause. Then she laughed. A short, sharp laugh. "Oh my God," she said, dragging a hand down her face. "Are you serious right now?" I just stared at her. She sat back on her heels on the yoga mat, phone clutched in her hand. "It's nothing," she said. "It's a joke." "A joke," I repeated. My voice sounded far away, like it belonged to someone else. "Who is M?" She rolled her eyes so hard it was almost theatrical. "Pilates," she said. "It's a woman from Pilates. We're doing this stupid challenge thing. Like, we go out after and pretend we're single to see what kind of free drinks we can get." "It's literally nothing." I felt my jaw tighten. "Pretend you're single," I said slowly, "by not wearing your ring." She shrugged, like I was asking why the sky was blue. "It's harmless," she said. "It's just for fun. You're being weird." I took a step closer. My hands were still shaking, and I shoved them into my pockets so she wouldn't see. "Lena," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "that's not fun. That's crossing a line." Her eyes narrowed. "Here we go," she said. "You always do this. You take something small and make it into this huge thing because you're insecure." That word, insecure, hit me like a slap. "I'm not insecure," I said. "I'm your husband. And I'm allowed to have friends," she shot back. "Friends don't text you, 'Don't wear the ring,' like it's a normal thing," I said. She stood up abruptly. The yoga mat snapped under her feet. The dog lifted his head, ears perked, sensing the shift. "Stop," she said, holding up her hand like I was a misbehaving child. "Stop accusing me of things. I'm not cheating. You're paranoid." Paranoid. I felt like the floor tilted. "I didn't say you were cheating," I lied, even though the thought was screaming in my head. She stepped closer to me, eyes hard. "You're acting like it," she said, "and it's honestly really unattractive." That's when I realized she wasn't trying to reassure me. She wasn't trying to calm me down. She wasn't saying, "Hey, I get why that looks bad." She wasn't saying, "Let me explain." She was attacking me. Gaslighting. That's the word everyone throws around on here, but it felt like that. Like she was trying to rewrite reality while I was standing in it. I said, "Can I see the messages?" Her face snapped even colder. "No," she said immediately. "Why not?" I asked. "Because it's my phone," she said. And you don't get to demand to go through it because you saw one stupid text. Then show me, I said. Show me the context. If it's a joke, show me. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she smiled. Except it wasn't a real smile. It was more like a warning. You don't trust me, she said softly. That's your problem, not mine. Then she walked past me, grabbed her hoodie off the chair, and headed toward the bedroom. I followed, not even thinking. Where are you going? I asked. She turned in the hallway. The hallway light made shadows under her eyes, like she hadn't slept. I'm going to take a shower, she said. And I'm not doing this with you. If you want to act crazy by yourself. She shut the bathroom door in my face. And then, through the door, I heard her phone buzzing again, multiple times, fast, like a conversation happening without me. I stood there, staring at the stupid beige hallway carpet, feeling like my insides were unraveling thread by thread. I went back into the kitchen and stared at the rain-streaked window. My reflection looked pale and wrong, like someone had erased part of me. I don't know why I did what I did next. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was desperation. Maybe it was the part of me that couldn't accept being called paranoid without at least checking if reality agreed. Her Pilates bag was by the door, half unzipped. She usually dumps it there. I've never gone through it, not once, but my hands moved anyway. I unzipped it the rest of the way. Inside was her water bottle, her grip socks, a rolled towel, and tucked into the side pocket, underneath a crumpled receipt, was a phone. Not her phone, a different one. Black, older model, no case. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up. I picked it up with both hands like it was evidence from a crime scene. It was heavier than her usual phone. It was turned off, or dead. I stood there in the entryway with the rain outside and the dog watching me like I'd lost my mind, and I felt this wave of heat rush up my neck. Second phone, secret messages, don't wear the ring. And the worst part? I didn't feel shocked anymore. I felt confirmed, like my body had been waiting for proof and finally got it. I put the phone back exactly where it was because I panicked, because I didn't know what else to do, because I didn't want her to walk out and see me holding it and turn this into another "you're paranoid" fight without me being prepared. Now she's in the shower. I can hear the water running. I can hear her humming again like she's calm, like she didn't just call me insecure and unattractive. And I'm sitting at my desk typing this with my hands still trembling, heart still racing, trying to make sense of my own life. I don't know what to do. Do I confront her about the second phone right now? Do I wait until I can turn it on? Do I take photos for proof? Do I call a lawyer? Do I even have enough proof to justify that? I feel like I'm standing on the edge of something, and if I step forward, my entire marriage is going to collapse. But if I don't step forward, I'm going to drown in this feeling. What would you do? Time passed since last post. 18 hours. I didn't sleep, not even a little. I lay on my side of the bed, staring at the faint glow of the streetlight filtering through the blinds, watching the thin stripes of light crawl across the ceiling while Lena breathed evenly beside me. Every time she shifted, my body stiffened. Every time she rolled away from me, I felt like there was an ocean between us. At around 3:40 a.m., she turned in her sleep and her hand brushed my arm. I flinched. That's when it hit me. The physical distance between us had been growing for weeks, but the emotional distance had become something else entirely, something deliberate. I kept replaying the words in my head. Don't wear the ring, and that second phone. I considered waking her up right then and there, dragging the truth into the light, but I knew I wasn't ready. She was too quick, too defensive. She'd twist it. Call me paranoid again. I needed clarity before confrontation. When my alarm went off at 6:30, I hadn't closed my eyes once. Lena moved first. Morning, she murmured, voice groggy, like nothing had happened, like the previous night hadn't carved something out of my chest. Morning, I said. My voice sounded hollow. She got up, grabbed her phone from the nightstand, and walked into the bathroom. She took it with her. Again. I lay there staring at the ceiling fan spinning slow circles, feeling the knot in my stomach tighten. By the time she left for work, she was back to her normal routine. Coffee in the travel mug, quick kiss on my cheek, the faint scent of her citrus shampoo. But even the kiss felt different. Like a gesture she checked off a list. Don't overthink last night, she said as she grabbed her keys. You were spiraling. Gaslighting again. The front door closed. Her car started. The engine faded down the street. Silence filled the house. I stood in the kitchen for a full minute, staring at the spot where her Pilates bag sat by the door. My hands started shaking before I even moved. I told myself, "You need to know." I walked over slowly, like approaching a wild animal. The bag was exactly where she left it. I unzipped the side pocket. The phone was still there. I pulled it out and pressed the power button. Nothing. Dead. I exhaled slowly, then plugged it into the charger in the living room and sat there staring at it like it might explode. After about 30 seconds, the screen lit up. My heart slammed against my ribs. A lock screen appeared. Passcode required, of course. But there were notifications. Dozens. From a messaging app I didn't recognize at first glance. Not iMessage, not WhatsApp. The icon was a small blue speech bubble with a white lightning bolt. The contact name at the top? Mason. My throat closed. Below it, message previews stacked like punches. You sure he didn't see? Last night was worth the risk. Tomorrow, same spot. Miss your mouth. My vision tunneled. I had to sit down. My hands went numb. I couldn't feel my fingertips. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears like distant thunder. I whispered, "No, no, no, no." The dog came over and nudged my knee, sensing something was wrong. I rested my hand on his head just to ground myself in something real. I stared at the screen again. Another notification appeared. "Mason, thinking about you in that blue dress." Blue dress. She wore that 2 Saturdays ago. Said it was for book club. I remember telling her she looked amazing. She kissed me and said, "You're biased." My stomach twisted so violently I thought I might throw up. I tried random passcodes. Her birthday, our anniversary, nothing. Then the phone buzzed in my hand. Incoming call. Mason. I froze. The phone vibrated against my palm like a living thing. I declined it instinctively. A text followed immediately. "Can't talk?" Another. "Everything okay?" Another. "Did he find out?" My heart pounded so hard I felt lightheaded. I turned the phone face down on the coffee table and stood up abruptly, pacing the room like a trapped animal. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't Pilates friends getting free drinks. This wasn't harmless. This was an affair. And she'd looked me in the eyes and called me paranoid. I don't know how long I paced. 10 minutes? Maybe 20. Then something inside me shifted, from shock to a cold, focused clarity. I picked the phone back up, took photos of the notifications with my own phone, every message preview, every timestamp. If this turned into denial, I would not be gaslit. At 9:12 a.m., Lena texted me. "Lena, did you remember to take the trash out?" Lena. "Also, sorry for snapping last night." Lena. "Work is insane today." I stared at the messages. My wife was texting me about trash bags while another man texted her about missing her mouth. I typed back, "Me. Yeah. Took it out. Me. Hope work gets better." My hands trembled as I hit send. I hated how normal that looked. At 9:47 a.m., the second phone buzzed again. "Mason. Hotel tomorrow still good?" Hotel. Tomorrow. The air left my lungs in a slow, shaking exhale. I sat down and stared at the wall, feeling something inside me fracture. I don't recognize my life anymore. I don't recognize my wife. And the worst part? I don't know who Mason is. Coworker? Trainer? Someone from her volunteer group? How long has this been happening? How many walks weren't walks? How many nights did she come home smelling like someone else? I put the phone back in her bag exactly how I found it, plugged it back into the portable charger inside so it wouldn't die, zipped the pocket, covered my tracks, because now I know. And tonight, she's coming home to a husband who knows she's lying. I feel sick. I feel angry. I feel like my chest is full of broken glass. Part of me wants to confront her the second she walks through the door. Part of me wants to wait. Part of me wants to show up at that hotel tomorrow and see it with my own eyes. I don't know what the right move is, but I know one thing for certain. I am not paranoid. And whatever happens next is going to change everything. Time passed since last update. 3 weeks. I've rewritten this post 6 times because every version either sounded unhinged or heartbreakingly naive. A lot has happened. Some of it I expected. Some of it detonated my life in ways I couldn't have imagined. The short version. I confirmed the affair. I confronted Lena. She denied, deflected, then confessed. Mason is real. The marriage is over. Lawyers are involved. And the night everything exploded ended with police lights in front of my house and my neighbor filming from his porch like it was reality TV. The long version. Buckle up. The hotel, I didn't confront her immediately. I needed truth I could see with my own eyes. Not something she could gaslight, reinterpret, or twist into, "You misunderstood." So the next day, when Lena left the house saying she had a late Pilates class, I waited 20 minutes and then drove to the hotel named in Mason's message. My hands were shaking so badly on the steering wheel, I had to keep adjusting my grip. It was one of those mid-range business hotels off the highway. Beige exterior, flickering fluorescent lights, a sad ornamental tree by the entrance. I sat in the parking lot feeling like I might pass out. At 7:12 p.m., Lena's car pulled in. My heart slammed into my throat. She parked near the side entrance. She sat in the car for a moment, checking her reflection in the mirror. Then, she reached down to the passenger seat and slipped off her wedding ring. My vision blurred. She put the ring in the center console. Then she stepped out of the car. She was wearing the blue dress, the one Mason texted about, the one she wore to book club. She walked toward the entrance. And then a man approached from the opposite side of the lot. Mid-30s, athletic build, dark jacket, confident walk. He didn't hesitate. He didn't look around. He went straight to her. He put his hands on her waist. And he kissed her. Not a hello peck, a deep, familiar kiss. I stopped breathing. I don't remember getting out of my car. I don't remember walking toward them. But suddenly I was there, 10 feet away, my entire body buzzing like exposed wiring. "Lena." My voice came out low and raw. They froze. She turned. Her face went white. "Mark?" she whispered. The man stepped back, eyes darting between us. "What the hell is this?" I asked, my voice shaking despite trying to keep it steady. She looked like she might collapse. "I can explain," she said quickly. I laughed. A sharp, broken sound. "Oh good," I said, because I'd love to hear the Pilates explanation. The man lifted his hands slightly. "Hey, I didn't know she was married," he said. Lena whipped toward him. "Mason, stop." "So, Mason, he knew my name." I looked at him. "You didn't know?" I said quietly. "Or you didn't care?" He swallowed but said nothing. Lena stepped toward me. "Can we not do this here?" she whispered urgently. "Where?" I asked. "In our kitchen? After chili?" Her eyes filled with tears. People were starting to glance at us as they walked into the hotel. Mason muttered, "I'm going inside," and backed away. Lena grabbed his sleeve. "Don't." I stared at her hand on his arm. Something inside me snapped. "Let him go," I said, my voice flat. She released him. He disappeared through the hotel doors without looking back. And there we stood in the parking lot, under flickering lights, rain beginning to mist down, my marriage dissolving in the cold air between us. The confession. We drove home in separate cars. Neither of us spoke during the drive. When she walked into the house, she set her purse down slowly, like she was entering a funeral home. "I didn't want you to find out like that," she said. I laughed again, hollow. "How did you want me to find out?" I asked. "Via loyalty punch card?" She flinched. Tears rolled down her face. "It started 3 months ago," she whispered. "Exactly when everything changed. He made me feel seen," she said. "We just talked at first. I didn't mean for it to—" "Stop," I said, holding up my hand. She kept crying. "I was lonely," she said. "You've been distant." That felt like a knife. "I've been working," I said quietly, "to support our life." "You're always tired," she whispered. "You stopped noticing me." I stared at her. "I noticed you," I said. "I noticed you hiding your phone. I noticed you smelling like another man." She covered her face and sobbed. "I never meant to hurt you." The words echoed like a cliché. The explosion, I told her. I wanted a separation. She panicked. No, we can fix this," she cried. "It was a mistake." "A mistake is forgetting milk," I said. "This was a relationship." She grabbed my arm. "Please, don't throw us away." Something inside me hardened. "You threw us away," I said. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. The dog whined and paced between us, confused. Then her phone buzzed. She froze. I looked at her. "Answer it," I said. She shook her head. It buzzed again. I walked over and picked it up. Mason calling. Her face crumpled. "Answer it," I repeated. She shook violently. I hit accept and put it on speaker. "Hey," Mason's voice said. "I'm sorry about that. Are you okay?" Silence filled the room. I spoke. "She's not coming back." There was a long pause. Then the line went dead. Lena sobbed harder. Police lights. At around 11 p.m., Lena tried to leave to talk to him and end it properly. I told her if she walked out, I would change the locks. She screamed that I was controlling. I told her she forfeited trust. She grabbed a suitcase. We yelled. Neighbors' porch lights turned on. She shoved past me. I grabbed the suitcase. She screamed. The dog barked. And then, blue lights flashed through the front window. Someone called the police. 2 officers separated us on the lawn while rain misted down, and my neighbor pretended to water his plants while filming. Humiliation doesn't even begin to describe the feeling. No arrests, just a domestic disturbance warning. She left with a friend who came to get her. Now, she's staying with a coworker. I've retained a lawyer. We're discussing division of assets and selling the house. She wants reconciliation. I filed for divorce yesterday. I feel hollow. Not explosive rage, not dramatic heartbreak, just a quiet, echoing emptiness. Like the life I thought I had was a set built on a soundstage and someone turned off the lights. People keep asking if I'm okay. I don't know how to answer that. But I know one thing. I didn't imagine it. I didn't overreact. I didn't spiral. I saw the truth in a hotel parking lot under flickering lights. And now, I'm learning how to live with it. I don't know what comes next. But I know the next update will be about the aftermath. And I hope, somewhere in the wreckage, there's a version of me that survives this. Time passed since last update. 7 months. I waited a long time to write this. Not because there wasn't anything to say, but because everything felt unfinished, raw, like speaking too soon would rip open wounds that were still trying to close. 7 months ago, I watched my marriage collapse under flickering hotel lights. Today, I'm sitting in a quiet apartment with sunlight coming through wide windows, my dog asleep at my feet, and a sense of peace I didn't think I would feel again. This will be the last update. The divorce. The legal process was not dramatic. It was slow, procedural, and emotionally exhausting in ways I wasn't prepared for. We mediated. We divided accounts. We signed forms that reduced 6 years of memories into bullet points and financial disclosures. No kids made things simpler. The house sale did not. Walking through empty rooms during the final inspection felt like touring a museum of a life that no longer existed. The faint rectangle on the wall where our wedding photo hung. The scratch on the baseboard from when we moved the couch in. The kitchen where we danced while pasta boiled. I stood there longer than I meant to. Not because I wanted to stay, because I wanted to properly say goodbye. We closed on the house in November. I haven't driven past it since. Lena. She asked to meet 3 times during the divorce process. I agreed to 1. We met at a quiet coffee shop on a gray afternoon. Rain tapped softly against the windows. The same kind of weather as the night everything broke. She looked thinner, tired, older in a way that had nothing to do with age. "I'm sorry," she said immediately. No defensiveness, no excuses, just quiet regret. "I blew up my life," she said, voice trembling. "And yours." I listened. She told me Mason lasted 6 weeks after I found out. He didn't want the reality, she admitted. He liked the fantasy. That sentence stayed with me. Fantasy. Affairs thrive in fantasy. Real life requires accountability. She said she started therapy, that she's trying to understand why she needed validation outside our marriage instead of communicating inside it. I told her I hoped therapy helps. She cried. "I wish I had fought for us before it was too late." I took a slow breath. "I did fight," I said gently. "You just weren't on the same side." We sat in silence for a while. There was no anger left in me. No urge to wound her back. Just acceptance. We hugged goodbye. It felt like closing a chapter instead of reopening one. We haven't spoken since. The part no one talks about. The first 2 months after separation were the hardest. Not the confrontation, not the police lights, not even the discovery, the silence. Coming home to an empty space. Cooking for one. No second toothbrush. No background noise of another person moving through the house. Grief is strange. It doesn't just mourn the person. It mourns routines, assumptions, future plans, inside jokes, the shape of daily life. I started therapy. At first, I hated it. Then I started understanding how much I had buried inside myself over the years, how often I chose peace over honesty, how conflict avoidance can become emotional distance. That doesn't excuse betrayal, but growth requires honesty in all directions. What healing actually looked like. It did not look like dramatic transformation. It looked like small things. Taking the dog on longer walks, learning to cook meals I actually enjoy, reconnecting with friends I drifted from, going to the gym not out of anger, but care, sitting in silence without feeling abandoned. Some nights were still heavy, but the crushing weight slowly lifted. The unexpected. 3 months ago, I joined a Saturday hiking group. My therapist suggested rebuilding social routines that weren't tied to my old life. I almost didn't go. The morning was cold, frost on the ground. My stomach knotted with social anxiety. I forced myself anyway. That's where I met Aaron. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, this is not a dramatic rebound love story. We started as trail partners because we walked at the same pace. We talked about dogs, then about travel, then about the strange grief of starting over in your 30s. She's divorced too. Different story. Same quiet resilience. We've had coffee, a few hikes. Nothing rushed, nothing hidden, no fantasy, just honesty. And for the first time in a long time, I feel something unfamiliar. Not excitement, not fear, but steadiness. What I know now, I know betrayal doesn't destroy you. Silence does. Avoidance does. Refusing to face truth does. I know love isn't proven by how long you stay. It's proven by how honestly you show up. I know intuition isn't paranoia. I know gaslighting makes you doubt reality, but reality eventually stands up and introduces itself. Most importantly, I know the end of a marriage is not the end of a life. It is the end of one story and the beginning of another. To everyone who told me I wasn't crazy, you helped more than you know. To everyone going through something similar, trust patterns, not words. Protect your dignity. Choose truth, even when it detonates your comfort. And understand this, you can survive the worst day of your life. Then you can build something honest from the rubble. The dog just sighed in his sleep and kicked his paws like he's chasing something in a dream. Sunlight is warming the floor. The air smells like fresh coffee. For the first time in months, my chest doesn't feel tight. I think I'm going to be okay.